All right, Anton, you're the product planner for Subaru. You do all the, what, sports cars?
Sports cars, all the cars. I have a team, so we do all the cars. Yeah.
All right, so that's got to be a lot of fun, planning what people are going to get in their cars.
Yeah, it's great fun. I mean, we do sports cars, we do, anything, SUVs, so it's different buyers for different things, so it's always entertaining, for sure.
All right, we're sitting in the freshly delivered 2016 BRZ that literally just rolled off the boats from Japan. So who's buying these cars? Is it different from the FRS buyer?
Yeah, you know what? It is different. It's, how can I say this? So the FRS buyer, they're just scraping by to try to sometimes get that vehicle. The BRZ buyer is different. They're someone who may have just ended a marriage or in their mid 40s and wants to go
newly
rock wild,
single,
newly single, or single guys. They tend to be older, maybe 30s to mid 40s. High incomes want full equipment, so we tend to sell a lot of the the high end version, which is the Sport Tech. It's the majority of the sales.
And there's good reason why people should consider the Sport Tech. So the starting price of the BRZ is what?
It's $27,395.
But for $2,000 more, you get a whole lot more, right? That's the Sport Tech.
Yes, that's right. So you get like Alcantara seats, you get the spoiler, automatic climate control, push button start with proximity key, and there's a couple other things as well. So I mean, really, for $2,000, people just say, okay, that's the one I want.
All right, now we're sitting in the brand new 2016. Any significant changes here? It's pretty minor, right?
Not too much changes. There's some different carbon interior panels. There's been some silver panels that we've changed, some of the switchgear, but basically the car remains mostly the same. Some new colors as well.
Yeah, and that's what people love about these cars is the simplicity. But people have been crying out for more. They want a turbo version of this car. They want a convertible version of this car. Maybe they even want a Subaru all-wheel drive version of this car. I'll tell you one thing. Product planners will never tell you what's going to come down the line, but you can give us some generalities about that, right?
Yeah, I mean, people always want more power and
this car would love a bit more power.
Fair enough. But you know what? It was designed not to be like the most powerful car out there. The point of this car is about handling and precision. And so it's all about low center of gravity. The Boxer engine is the lowest and flattest we've ever had. It's moved very far back into almost, into the middle of the car, you could say, or right at the back of the engine bay. And the whole point of this is to give you this really fantastic feel of the road. So it's not really about the numbers. It's not about the ultimate G grip or the horsepower, the torque. It's the feeling you get behind the wheel. And most people, when they drive this car, they say, I feel like I'm driving really fast, and I'm not, because it's that involved.
All right. 2 weeks ago, I was in California driving the new Miata, the MX-5, and they described their car in very much the same way. It's not about power. It's about feeling like you're going fast when you're going 30 miles an hour. And you have the same basic philosophy.
Yes, we do. I'll say we were first. How about that? No, not really. I guess it depends on...
I would question that. 1989, the Miata's been around a while.
I wasn't even born then, No, I'm just kidding. I was born. But no, I mean, it's different. That's a convertible. It's smaller. BRZ is meant to be a handling car. So, I mean, to chop the roof off, you would probably ruin a good part of that. More power, might be possible down the road, but the car is well balanced.
Did you see that? His eyes lit up. Might be possible down the road. So are you telling me there could be a turbo version of this or a bigger displacement engine?
I'm not sure. I have no recollection of that. But anyway, no. I mean, there's lots of stuff coming in the future. In Japan they have a different version called TS, which is kind of it's even tighter than this car. A lot of people say this is kind of the limit, especially when you think of the buyers mid 30s to 40s and saying, this is the kind of suspension I could live with. Anything a little bit more than that, you start to make it uncomfortable.
Well, because it's a car that you don't want to be beaten up every day.
Well, exactly. It has to be livable, and most people, find, it usually is the second car, especially where you have a lot of snow. But most people say, this is kind of what I need. And of course, we could always make an extreme version and sell very few of them, But at least for now, this seems to be what people want.
We were driving here in and around Whistler today, and we were talking about, car companies. Some car companies, they go all in on things, and other car companies, they say, well, no, that's the limit. For example, I'll give you a perfect example. BMW, they've got a 2 Series, they've got a 2 Series convertible. They've got a 2 Series with a big 6-cylinder, and they've got a 2 Series convertible with the same. They've got one with rear-wheel drive, one with all-wheel drive. They take the same basic components, then they put it in a 3 Series, then they put it in a 4 Series. So you have all of these other components that Subaru has. You've got a turbocharged engine. You've got all-wheel drive. You could... how come they can turn their 2 Series from a coupe into a convertible and you can't? It can be done.
It can be done. It's easier with a WRX because WRX and an STI, they're kind of related cars. So there's a lot of things that can be done with that. This is a purpose designed car. So this is what it's meant to be. This doesn't share a lot of things with the other cars. It doesn't have the same kind of transmission. It has its own unique engine, which is flatter, and it's very light. And the way the suspension is set up is totally different from any other car we've had. Even having, say, having the anti-roll bar attached directly to the struts. People don't do that. So, and that's not the same as WRX and STI. It's different. So this is really its own car, and it has one sole purpose, and that's to be agile and have great handling. So can we raid the parts bin? Sure we can. We can cut a hole in the hood and stick a big blower in there or a turbo.
I don't think we're going to do that, but you could put a little bump in there.
You could put a little bump, yeah, possibly. But I mean, like I said, this car has a single purpose,
and by the way, you've done that before. You've had a big cat inhaler on some of your other cars. I would say you can easily stuff a house cat in there.
Yeah, you could. Yeah, and cats have gone in there. So I mean, this is really meant to be a handling car. And if you want power, if you want more, say grip and have it all seasons, we've got an STI for that or a WRX for that. So we think, our offerings in the sports car segment, I think we're one of the only brands that really has kind of polar opposite vehicles. We've got this, all-wheel drive, tenacious kind of car with lots of power that you can use on any surface. And then we have completely the opposite end of that, lightweight, not as much horsepower, agile feeling, about precision. And you'll find most brands don't have that kind of breadth in their sports car lineup, but, we like that. And we think that's what makes Subaru a unique brand.
And you were telling us earlier that you have a big share of sports car business. Is that right?
Yeah, we have 13% market share in the sports segment, which is actually far and away our highest share. Most people, when they think of Subaru, they think of Outback and Forester, and it's, Subaru's all about SUVs. But really, in terms of penetration in the marketplace, we have by far and away the highest penetration in the sports car segment.
And you would include cars like the GTI in there.
Yeah, you could include
the Focus ST, stuff like that.
Yeah, GTI, Miata, Genesis, Coupe, those types of vehicles all exist in that category.
All right. So you're not going to tell me what future plans are for this car, but it is fun to drive. But have you seen a bit of a honeymoon? Car came out, sales go way up. Is it flattening off? What are you going to do to get excitement around it, the brand again?
Well, I think this car still has some longevity in it for sure. I mean, it's a very seasonal car because it's rear-wheel drive and lightweight. We tend to see a lot of sales right in the springtime, and then of course in winter it goes off. But in the New York Auto Show this past year, there was a lot of STI stuff that you may have noticed there. So I think that might be in our future.
So an STI version of this car?
Possibly.
So a turbo, big scoop on the hood.
I don't know about that, but STI means more than just turbo with a big scoops on the hood. It means more handling. It means performance. It's our own performance division, right? So I think.
So are you trying to make STI kind of like AMG is for Mercedes or M is for BMW? It's going to be your full performance line.
Yeah, I mean, I think the future of STI is really bright, and you may know in other markets, especially in Japan, it's really big there, and really there's a lot of amazing parts that they have. They have a lot of great tuning that we've never really had here before, and I think definitely we're going to tap into that and try to elevate the STI brand in Canada and the U.S. for sure.
All right, so these cars are rolling in when?
Right away, they'll be out, in June. Same thing with the WRX and STI, so they're basically at the dealers anytime now.
Thanks for your time. Say goodbye.
Thank you.